Is SMS text blasting dead? In today's video, guys, we are live. We are actually going to break down the SMS text blasting for 2021, especially when it comes to the Trace Act for wholesaling real estate. So, is SMS text blasting dead? That is the most important question everyone's been asking me, and it's been on my mind too. So, I've really been doing a lot of research, and I have an answer for you guys. But before I give you the answer, remember, guys, you need to smash that like button and subscribe to get more free content and value from me. Guys, I'm here just to help you make your first $100,000 in real estate wholesaling. So if you can, remember, smash that like button and subscribe. But let's get into the $1 million question. Is SMS texting dead? It's not. SMS text blasting is not dead, but what is dead is large-scale texting. And really in this video, we're going to break down the differences between the two so you know exactly how to do your SMS text blasting right and truly how you can do SMS text blasting the correct way without getting in trouble. You know, the Trace Act is going to change a lot of ways that we are wholesaling real estate, but when it comes to SMS text blasting, we're going to have to change some of the ways, and really I'm going to break it down all in this video. Remember, guys, this is a live video, so if you do have comments, I'll pull them up live and I'll answer them for you. That's what I do. There's no editing. There's no fancy editors on here. I mean, we keep it real here on the YouTube channel. So that's what we're trying to do. So really, when it comes to SMS text blasting, the Trace Act is going to affect a lot of stuff. It's not going to kill SMS. It's going to affect a lot of the large-scale SMS people. And who are some of the big SMS large-scale text blasters? You know, the mass texters who will text 20, 30, even 40,000 text messages a day. If that's you, most likely for your wholesaling business, it's going to be dead. And it's not the best thing, I know, but really that's where it's at. So right now, the sweet spot, in my opinion, for wholesaling real estate, especially with SMS text blasting, is going to be between 500 to 1,000 texts a day. That's where, if you can get in that range for SMS text blasting, you shouldn't have a problem this year for SMS text blasting. But again, we don't know. Again, any YouTuber or guru out there telling you about SMS text blasting and the Trace Act, they don't know either. It could be the top wholesaling guy out there talking about SMS text blasting and the lowest of the low subscriber-wise. They don't know either. Unless they literally work for the FCC or the federal government, or they have an inside information that we don't know. I know as much information as they do, and they know as much information as I do. The one thing we can sort of understand is the big texters are going to get in trouble, and really the sweet spot. So why am I at 500 to 1,000 texts a day? The reason why I sort of came up to that conclusion is that's where a consensus of a lot of the big texting guys have been. Some of the biggest people who work with Twilio, work with the hugest, like the biggest SMS text blasting companies out there are really more or less, that's what they're getting a consensus to. And we won't know any of this information until really the summer on the right numbers for it. So really the Trace Act, again, is it's going to trace who's sending out these mass texts to motivated sellers. And most likely, if you're over 1,000 texts a day, you're going to have to register with the Trace Act. Excuse me, guys, drink a lot of water today. But if you do over 1,000 texts, you're most likely going to have to register your EIN number, which is your employment identification number or employer identification number. I'm pretty sure it's employer identification number. I'll get back to you on that from the IRS, but that's how much of an accountant guy I am. But that is actually how they identify your business federally. So that's your federal number there for your business. And if you're sending too many or you get so many complaints on that EIN, they can actually shut down that account associated with that EIN number. So if you're under 500 to 1,000, most likely you're probably not going to register. Let's say you love texting your friends and texting like random people. If you do 40 like random texting of your friends every day, you're not going to have to register an EIN. You're just a regular dude or gal. So most likely if you're under 500 to 1,000, there's going to be a certain threshold on there and you should be protected. 500 to 1,000 is most likely what we're seeing here. Could it change? Could it be different? Could it be 4,000 texts a day? We don't know. But really, in my true opinion, a lot of the wholesaling gurus are a little more aggressive when it comes to the number. They think it's going to be 300 to 400 a day. I think they have a hidden agenda. I actually think they're trying to sell you on a non-SMS course. There's a lot of gurus out there talking about the Trace Act and how the Trace Act is going to kill SMS, and you need to pay $5,000 for my Driving for Dollars Mastermind, where I'll teach you to do it because SMS is dead. Do my little online marketing thing, do my Driving for Dollars course, do this course because SMS is dead. Or do my direct mail course, SMS is dead. Stop it, join my course. Buying my course is the only thing for you to make money. I feel like a lot of these gurus are doing it, and I'm not scared to do it because I'm not selling you guys a course. I'm not scared to tell you the actual truth here when it comes to wholesaling real estate. So everyone's a little more pessimistic. They're trying to sell you courses and they make it a lot scarier than it is. Remember when the opt-out language thing happened and everyone thought SMS was dead there? I made a video on that. Everyone's like, oh my God, SMS is dead. We're still getting $40,000, $50,000 deals even with that put in opt-out language through batch leads. So guys, SMS is not dead. What's going to change is the amount of text we can do. So the large scale texting is not going to work. If you're doing 10,000 texts a day, that's not going to work either. It's just truly not going to work. You're not going to get the results that you thought. So if you're doing 10,000 a day, I can almost guarantee you're going to get attacked. So your EIN, you're going to get a lot of angry people. So they're going to get very upset. So if you're doing that much, it's not going to work. But truly that's where it's at. So 10,000 texts a day is probably going to be dead. 500 or 1,000 is really where you're going to get. So guys, you could still get SMS text blasting deals. Like there's no change. You could still get these deals. What's going to have to change is we're going to have to switch up the way we're getting our lists. So I know a lot of the big texting guys or gals, the people huge into text blasting, what they do is they'll throw high equity. I was guilty of this for my entire county, maybe 300,000, and I would text blast, tens of thousands a day, tens of thousands a day, and just text, and just go after. And it was good, but the issue was that started implementing the opt-out language on there because I was abusing the system. I was clogging out. That was before the Verizons or anyone stopped the texting. Like all the other services, I used the old ones. So SMS back then was amazing. And I just did the whole county every single month. And it was just, oh my gosh, like thinking about how much money we made doing that. It was crazy. And I'm going to say forever how lucky I was during that time. So I think right now that texting back then is driving for dollars today. I think the same arbitrage is there. But really, it was so crazy. And unfortunately now it is a little different, but we could still get SMS text blasting deals. And with the Trace Act, it's not going to stop you from getting an SMS text blasting deal. It's not going to stop me. I'm still going to show you vlogs of me getting $40,000, $50,000 deals from SMS text blasting. It's not going to change anything. So truly, I still believe SMS text blasting is still going to be good. Still going to be here for a while. And really, unless they can start tracing, 200 texts a day, or you can only do 100 a day, that's when things get a little different. But there are some loopholes I'm going to tell you at the end of this video on how to get around this. Again, I'm not a lawyer, financial advisor, CPA, whatever the FCC or the Trace Act says, TCPA compliance, all that. That's what I recommend. But there might be some loopholes around this where it's not illegal, but you can get around some of those requirements so you can still have your success in real estate wholesaling. So niche lists, government lists, and stacked lists. These are going to be the lists of the future for SMS text blasting. And I can truly say this because I'm not selling you a text blasting course. I'm not trying to sell you on anything on this. These are going to be the lists for the future for SMS text blasting. It might be different than what your guru says or something, but I don't care. For our 7-figure wholesaling operation, this is the list that I'm going to be doing, and this is the list we're kind of doing now to have success. Like I've said before, if you've been watching my content for a while, when the opt-out language and some of the more SMS text blasting really restrictions came, we started doing more niche stuff, and we weren't doing 10,000 texts a day. We brought that down to like 2,000 to 3,000 a day, and we went really more niche, and our results stayed the same because we kept it to niche lists, government lists, and stacked lists. So these are going to be the lists of the future. These are the lists that you are going to have to start using for your wholesaling real estate operation. Now, what is a niche list? Niche lists are lists that not a lot of wholesalers are going after. These are lists that are very hard to find, but with spending that hard-earned time getting that niche list, you could be texting a list that potentially no other wholesaler is texting, and that is huge. that could change the game when it comes to SMS text blasting for you. So niche lists are absolutely amazing. I truly cannot get enough of them. So that is either they're technically part of government lists. So let's talk about government lists and then I'll break down what all these are. But government lists are lists from the government. So these are probates, code violations. There's also divorce lists you can go after, water shutoff lists, utility lien lists, tax lien lists, people behind on their taxes. That's who those tax lien people are. There's so many lists you can do. Even eviction lists, like credit card debt lists. You can do these all from the government, and they're absolutely amazing. Stacked lists are also really cool too. So you can stack like a high equity list with a vacant list on top of a list that is under 200,000 like people on there. Remember, listrei.com does this all for you. Listrei.com is the website I do for like the list stacking, but it's really more filtering now because list stacking has changed, the way they do it. So overall, like stacked lists, government lists, and niche lists, those are the lists of the future. So it is all that stuff. So vacates are really good, but vacates might be a little too much for 500 to 1,000 a day. If you don't have enough leads for 500 to 1,000 a day, add in vacants with high equity that the person's owned the property for at least 3 years. And if you need a small list, put it to 4 years or ownership of 5 years. Anything more than 5, I probably don't do. Credit card debt lists are absolutely amazing. That's something that I won't do SMS texting wise, but I'll put that in my cold calling. So still pull that information and kind of have my VA sift through all of it, and it'll give us the best results. But overall, I can tell you is SMS text blasting is changing, and you need to learn how to adapt. And no SMS text blasting course is going to have a video on this. They might have their editors working on it, but they're going to be a month late. I'm telling you, I do this stuff live. I teach this stuff live. I'm not here to do a course. This is the course, this actual YouTube channel where I go live and I'll tell you exactly, this is a morphing thing. Wholesaling is always going to change. So don't get comfortable when it comes to wholesaling marketing. It's always going to be different. Something's going to be, a new curveball is going to come in and we're going to have to change it up. I got very complacent with SMS text blasting until the Optum language came in, then we switched it up. And now that it's switched up again, I can do something else, and I can shift really the tables of what we can do. The cool part, I do have some cool announcements on some of the rules I've given for you guys actually following my stuff religiously when it comes to marketing for wholesaling. So now with SMS text blasting, weekends are now on the table. So with the carrier algorithms, the SMS text blasting algorithms, weekends are now on the table because it's not how much text you send out in a week. It's about how many texts you send in a day. So usually I was a Monday through Friday texter only type dude. But now that we can do 500 to 1,000 a day, and it's not going to affect per week, we can start SMS text blasting on Saturdays and Sundays, which is huge. It's really exciting. Remember, we're not to stay TCPA compliant with this, but we can start doing weekends if we're available to do it. This is something with the cold calling we can do too. So if you're SMS text blasting, if you're allowed to do it on the weekends, do it on the weekends. Cold calling, weekends have to be a must. So for all my cold calling people still doing this, I still truly believe you shouldn't do SMS only. Guys who are doing SMS exclusively now should quit it. Quit the exclusive SMS. SMS and cold calling, I'm telling you right now, SMS and cold calling is the greatest combination of marketing right now to get the best return on your investment. What do I mean by this? What I mean by this is you can get the best bang for your buck. So if I'm pulling a vacant high equity list in my certain county, what I can do is actually pull all that information, and now I skip trace it. I'm probably going to use SMSZach.com for it. And then from there is when I pull or do the skip tracing. You do free skip tracing at True People Search also. But the huge importance of this is now let's say I have a list of 10,000 skip trace lists here. Now what can I do with it? You get the best of both worlds, as Hannah Montana says. Oh, I don't even start with me. My sister made me watch that show when I was a kid, but you do get the best of both worlds here. So what you can do is you can cold call that list, let's say month 1, and then you can cold call that list and then SMS text blast that list, or text blast that list and SMS cold call. No, text blast that list, cold call that list, or cold call that list and SMS text blast it. The reason why you do that is I've actually done tests. This is right when I started real estate wholesaling. You actually will find out on a list of 10,000, let's say high equity vacant leads, You might be able to pull one deal SMS text blasting that entire list. And then you're cold calling, you'll pull 2 extra ones. So there's 3 deals in that list for that month. You found out there's deals you extract from cold calling that'll hit, or through SMS text blasting that'll hit. There is deals, guys. I'm going to repeat this. I'm super passionate about this. I'm going to say this a million times. In your lead list that are skip traced right now, there are leads that you will get only through cold calling. Cold calling is the only way you get that deal. I don't know why. Maybe the guy's older and he just refused to actually get that. Maybe it's a landline that you pulled on that vacant one. Cold calling is the only way to get that deal. And now you go to SMS text blasting, where someone's just going to refuse to answer that phone call, but they'll check your text and they'll actually answer it. Then you'll only get that deal through SMS text blasting. That's why every skip trace list I have, especially on like a vacant lead, I will cold call that one and SMS text blast that one. It is so important to do both, because you already did the most expensive part and the most time intensive part and the most difficult part. You skip trace the list. Now, it's literally a free list. You SMS text blast, or a free list, you cold call, because you already spent the money skip tracing that list. So that is what I'm going to tell you right now. You need, if you're only doing SMS right now, or you're only doing cold calling right now, implement that also. They are cousins to each other. They are so important. They're both going to help you get wholesaling deals. I'm telling you, cold calling is my personal favorite one, but SMS is huge, and I still do SMS every day because I'm pulling leads out of there and deals that I would never gotten through cold calling or direct mail. Guys, I'm telling you right now, you have to do both of these channels. They will change the game. When I was text blasting tens of thousands of leads every single day, there was no opt-out filters. The delivery rate was amazing. There was no issue. I could literally text blast, are you looking to sell your property for cash? I'm looking to buy it. I could literally do all the keywords, nothing, and it was an amazing arbitrage. The arbitrage today is doing SMS and cold calling on niche lists. I'm going to be right on this in 5 years when everyone's like, guys, I wish I could SMS text blast or cold call niche lists because of XYZ filter. Right now is the time to do it. That is the arbitrage to make the most money possible, the best ROI. If I put 1,000 in, I'm going to get 10,000 out. SMS text blasting and cold calling. Driving for dollars too is absolutely amazing. I would drive for dollars. Like, that is, when it comes to niche lists and government lists and stack lists, driving for dollars is one of the best lists out there also. That is a list that nobody can buy. When you're cold calling that list, or you're SMS text blasting that driving for dollars list, no wholesaler in your market, I can't even buy that list. I have to go out there and earn that list. And earned list is one of the best lists out there. So I'm telling you right now, start cold calling, start SMS text blasting together. If you're scared of cold call, go out there. It'll change your life. Cold calling, also, you'll gain leads. You'll actually get leads, and you'll actually gain your skill set to talking to sellers in person. And you're like, I'm only doing SMS because I don't want to talk to sellers in person. The point of SMS is, once you get a qualified SMS lead, you don't text them anymore. You get on the phone and you close the deal. The point of SMS text blasting is not to text your way to a contract. It's to get a call so you can actually get an appointment for wholesaling real estate. I'm passionate about this because I'm here. I want to help you make $100,000 in real estate wholesaling. You guys need to be cold calling, trying for dollars, and SMS text blasting. Guys, like doing radio ads, doing all the fancy schmancy Facebook ads, it's going to be nice. But if you're broke and you have no money, these are the marketing channels that you need to be doing to change your life for wholesaling. Guys, I'm telling you, weekends are on the table now. That is what we're going to have to start doing. That's what we're going to have to do that other wholesalers aren't, to start getting deals, especially in a more saturated market. Now, remember, guys, if you're doing 500 to 1,000 texts a day, if you're doing it throughout the weekend, that's 15 to 30,000 leads a month. That will easily net you over 100K, 6 figures a year in wholesaling real estate. If you're cold calling on top of that, you should do very fine. I'm telling you guys, that's a lot of leads to do. And maybe what we do is we'll do vacant 1 month, and then next month we'll just do high equity only, or we'll do a different type of code violation list or something. Like, rotate the lists too and the leads there. It will give us huge. We're going to have to track our KPIs. When we're doing niche lists, we're going to have to know what numbers are working and what is not. The KPIs for SMS text blasting is super important. Our delivery rate, our reply rate's really big. How many are actually getting delivered or going through? And really, I mean, the best KPI is how much money we're spending in SMS text blasting and how many deals we're getting in. That is huge, guys. I'm telling you, our KPIs are super important. We're going to have to track them even harder so we know what works. One of the most important KPIs for SMS text blasting right now is knowing what ad copy is working and what isn't, because the carrier's algorithm is changing. Verizon, Sprint, AT&T, all of these algorithms are changing. Now, they're going to be changing every day. So might be a little daunting, might be a little scary. Like, Zach, why am I going to SMS text blast if the algorithm is going to change every single day? That seems stupid, right? Well, here's the truth, guys. The KPIs that we do will help me understand the algorithm and help me out. The biggest reason why I've done so really well the past couple months in SMS text blasting is because I do so much ad copy, and then I do the KPIs. I say, you know what, I'm getting a 30% delivery rate here versus a 20% on this ad copy. What does this ad copy have that this one doesn't? I do little numbers in my certain market here. I can't give out my ad copy because everyone's going to steal it, and then the algorithm is going to be affected through it. So really through KPIs, you can learn what ad copy is working and what isn't. Testing has been the biggest change for me with SMS results, and I test like crazy. Spend a fortune testing. We spend more money testing direct mail, but SMS is probably one of the most expensive parts of our testing, and it's absolutely amazing. So the most important KPI when it comes to the carrier algorithm, so especially with the Trace Act for wholesaling real estate, for us to get the best results, is replies. Right now, what I've seen through research, through like bail bondsmen, like credit repair people that are talking about the Trace Act, when I'm doing research, like bringing this stuff back to you from the information I've seen about the future, I'm not only going after wholesalers, because there's not a lot of wholesalers out there compared to other people doing SMS text blasting. So I've seen bail bonds people and like credit repair that do hundreds of thousands of texts a day, like the big people, the big influencers when it talks to that space. Replies are most likely, I can't guarantee this. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I'm like the weatherman. You can't get mad at the weatherman for being wrong half the time. Sometimes I'm right. But what I've seen is replies are going to be the most important algorithm, especially with the Trace Act with carriers, to see if you're legit or not. And this is like pretty common sense stuff. So if you have Zach Ginn right here versus John Smith right here, and we're both, you know, doing wholesaling marketing in Port St. Lucie, I send my ad copy out and I'm getting a 35% response rate. And then John Smith is like, we buy houses cash, and he's getting like a 4% response rate. The algorithm's going to look at it and say, wow, Zach's getting a 40% response rate here. He seems like he's actually legit. It looks like he's not spamming because he's getting a 40% reply rate on there. Seems pretty good. Now, these are replies that aren't opt-outs. So these are other ones that are not STOP, stop. And then this one's getting a 4% response rate. That's spam. 4% is what's spam. The carriers are going to find a threshold. I'm thinking about 20% is my guess. Is if you're not getting a 20% response rate, you're probably spam, and they're going to cut you out. So make sure you get the right ad copy and things like that. But that's where I'm thinking right now. Replies are super important, kind of like with cold calling. But remember, we have to remember this. I've said this a million times. I'm going to say this a million more times, guys. Get off of texting as soon as possible. And what do I mean by that? Not saying to stop SMS. But when you're texting and someone says, yes, they are interested in selling their house, stop texting. Cut the texting off. Cut it out. Zip, zilch, What we're going to do now is we're going to get on the phone and we're going to call them and set the appointment. We're going to have the conversation in person. I'm telling you right now, you guys right now, I mean, this isn't the golden rule or anything, but this is one of the biggest problems I see with SMS text blasting in 2021. This isn't really about calling, especially with the Trace Act, but this is in general that you guys just need to know. You guys are just spending too much time texting your seller, and they're going to get bored with you, and they're going to stop talking to you or actually calling you. You need to get in front of their face. Speed is everything in wholesaling. Right now in 2021, especially if you're in a saturated market, speed is going to be everything. So getting on the phone, setting that appointment as soon as possible will yield you the most wholesaling real estate results. And I can't say it enough. I'm telling you right now, texting, it's a filter. It's not the cure-all be-all for wholesaling. Like it's the texting is we just going to use as a filter. I want to sift through all the no's till I get a yes. That's all I care about. I'm not here to close a deal over text. You guys and gals are trying to close deals over text. That's not how you do it. You do it over the phone or you do it in person. That's how you get the best results for wholesaling real estate. And I'm telling you right now, Get off texting. As soon as you get a yes lead, call them on the phone, put them in your CRM, and get going. Next here, probably the most important part that you guys are waiting on right now is loopholes. So yes, there's some interesting things I've talked to. Some of the stuff that you have to buy a course for to learn this stuff, but these are going to be, I'm gonna get in trouble here, but these are some of the loopholes that we are considering with the Trace Act that might help us even pump up some of our SMS numbers more. Because I'm always trying to get the 1% edge over my competition because it's the reason why we do so well in wholesaling. So these are some to consider. I'm not telling you this is it. They might close the loophole. They might close these loopholes. Most likely they are. But if this Trace Act gets implemented tomorrow, this is probably the stuff that we're looking at right now that could yield us more results. So obviously you're gonna have to register your EIN, and we won't really know until summer, June or July, where the real numbers are for wholesaling real estate when it comes to SMS text blasting. So we won't know the perfect results for it. But what I've seen is you have to register your EIN, and that's your account for texting or Twilio or something like that. It stops you from 500 to 1,000 texts per EIN. Now you're thinking here, like, you're not stopped from how many EINs you have. Hear me out. I'm not a lawyer, financial advisor, CPA, professional attorney. I'm not any of this stuff. So what I say is my thoughts. This is for educational or entertainment purposes only, but these are just thoughts of potential loopholes in the future for texting. I'm not doing this. I'm not saying I'm 100% doing this. I'm probably not going to do this, or I might not. This is just stuff to put in your head, just to think about potentially if you're trying to do more texting. I'm going to do everything the FCC and the government tells me because I'm not getting on the government's bad side for anything. So whatever the government says, I'm going to do. But always think about this. So you guys know what I mean by that. So Elon Musk's owned multiple companies. He owns Tesla, SpaceX. He owned PayPal, I think. Like all these huge companies. He has Neuralink, OpenAI, like all these. He has multiple EINs and he's the owner of these businesses. Think about that for a second. You can own multiple EINs in your personal name, not for your personal, like you can register multiple EINs. I've registered over 6 EINs for all of my businesses I have, and it's growing and growing and growing. And over the 9 businesses that I own, there's 9 EINs that I could have actually made. So really, there's no limit on the EINs you have. And so theoretically, if the cost of creating an LLC or an S corporation, there's definitely interesting ones. I know, for example, I can't comment on this, but I know certain states, Wyoming, for example, you can create an LLC there for like $150, create an EIN, and it's almost impossible to trace or actually find who the owner of that is. So if someone tried to sue that LLC, it's impossible to really know who is the owner or the true owner of there. So I'm not telling you what to do. Let's say you live in Wyoming, that's a plus. I know people that only do Wyoming LLCs or incorporations, and they live in like Ohio or Indiana or Michigan. So I know a lot of people that do that with their SMS so they not get sued or get in trouble with it. I'm not telling you what to do, but that is something you can always think about. So multiple EINs, you can create multiple accounts. This is something in a beta test that I know multiple people are testing, and I'll get back with you on the results. It's just something for you guys to think about with your SMS text blasting and to see if you have the true and the best of results, honestly, for real estate wholesaling when it comes to this stuff. So really, that's what I've seen. 500 to 1,000, maybe it's 200, 300. But think about it, if you get 500 to 1,000, you have 10. If you're making good money for wholesaling and SMS is doing really well for you, if you created 10 businesses and they're both separate, they're both doing different things or competing things, you could potentially do 5,000 to 10,000 texts a day and still be compliant with the Trace Act. Something very interesting. It's not stuff gurus don't talk about. They don't like thinking outside the box. But I know people that have talked about it in circles, very close, like the big 7-figure people, because I talk to them all the time. They'll give me the information. They won't talk about me on their YouTube channel, but they deal with me because they know that I know my numbers, and we're one of the most innovative marketers here on this YouTube channel. So I've talked to some of these people, and this is stuff that they're already created it. They already did it. But I want this information These are behind closed doors that like gurus charge a lot of money for, that I get sifted and shifted through me, that I just got to give to the people because that's what I do. Those are what people are really doing. So it's very interesting. I think it's fascinating the way people are doing that. But again, whatever the government says, I'm going to do because I got to be right with them. I get in trouble. So remember, smash that like button, subscribe, comment. But right now what I'm going to do is answer some of your comments that you guys have. And what I want to do is see what I can help you guys out with the Trace Act, with SMS Text Blasting. I you guys out. So Kevin says here, more people should be watching this. I 100% agree. But really, if I can just affect one life, help someone make $100,000 for free, I'm beyond happy. I'm fulfilled. I don't do this for money. I do this just to help and for impact. So what's up, guys? All the support you guys been giving here. Sweet, sweet, sweet. What would you say the text to deal ratio is? I'm in Colorado. It really depends. I've seen people do texting deals from 4,000 texts to get a deal. I've seen guys do 1,000. I've guys done, they've done the 500 texts for $1 and they got $10,000, like a $10,000 deal. So it's really dependent on what you do. Whereas SMS.com, if you want to test SMS text blasting for free, you guys can tell this is a live video. So that's what I recommend people to do is SMS right for me. 500 for $1. I'm telling you, the actual cost of texting is a lot more than $1 for 500. So that offer is insane. But that's why I always promote it, is because I'm literally giving away free texting. So it's pretty cool. Hi, Zach. Thank you so much for getting us jewels. Thank you, Brenda. I really appreciate it. That's what I'm trying to do on this YouTube channel, is help people out. Like literally, like this texting thing, you're literally like, you're buying quarters for a penny. Like that's what it is. I'm drinking some water, guys. So, I'm getting some questions, so bear with me here. I thought I'd go for a lot longer in these lives if I drink some water, help clear my throat. I found out that water gives me a lot more energy, like when I drink a lot for a live, so you're gonna see a lot more water from me. But Overlord Gaming says, best niche list to pull right now. I'm done right now. Drawing for dollars, probates, code violations. Those are the trinity right now for the top ones to do right now. I'm telling you, like if you want to get really good deals, those are the 3 to do. And the coolest part about it is most of them are basically free. Drawing for dollars, obviously you have gas money, but walk for dollars is like seriously. So those are the 3 right now. I can tell you 1,000,000 times over. Those are going to be the best niche lists to do. There's so many niche lists you can do. I think the water shutoff is really important on there. I think the fire damage property list is absolutely amazing too. If you can actually get a connection or get a hold of your local county's fire department list or your city's fire department fire list, ask for all the properties that actually went on fire and get a public list. Most likely you might have to do a FOIA request, which is free. You're a public taxpayer. You are privy for all this information. The government just doesn't giving it to you. And of course, the government's great and all, but they owe you this information because you pay the tax. You, power to the people here, you deserve this information. I pay a fortune in property taxes for my rental properties and the properties that I live in. You deserve it too. And I'm telling you, if you're a citizen, you deserve this information and you need to get it. So the fire damage property list is yours. And that is a great niche list to do. And it's a free one to do too. Skip tracing is free too. TruePeopleSearch.com is absolutely free. I know people that only use that. I use Batch because my time is a lot more valuable than that, and I do have the money for it. But really, you got to see it's a time play or really a play where you just want to do the free stuff. So the best niche list to pull right now are those: water shutoffs, code violations, driving for dollars, like the water shutoff list. These are all free lists you can get right from the government, right from the county clerk of the court, blah, blah, right from the county clerk of the court. This is free information. It's absolutely amazing. And this is stuff you get from, I'm telling you, there's no excuse not to be pulling these free. These are the lists that you need to be doing to change your life for real estate wholesaling. I can't say it enough. In my area, though, there are about 2,000 vacant properties. I'm in Colorado market. How do you have enough leads to be texting 1,000 every day for a month? So we do a lot of list stacking, and we do what we call, it's like niche list harvesting. And what do I mean by niche list harvesting? That means I pull all, let's say all the code violations for all my counties. I mean, I'm actually doing 6 counties now, like locally in my like close, like in-person Florida markets with our acquisitions people. We'll literally, for all 6 counties, like we have a very wide radius where we'll do all the code violations, all the probates, all the fire damage properties, all driving for dollars, like all the vacants, all the credit card debt lists. I think you're sort of getting where I'm getting at here is all the niche lists. We'll put them on this huge master list and SMS text that list, SMS text blast that list, and then cold call that list like crazy, and we get amazing results. And for my market, like that's what I do. Here's the difference. You're not going to do it. And that's why I destroy my competitions, because we do it. We're the best acquisitions agents ever. We have the best training possible. So really, there's plenty of enough leads for us. It's one of the best out there, I'm telling you. Thanks for all the questions, guys. Keep it up with the questions. I appreciate it. Stay on here as long as I can. What's the general ratio of how many properties when a driving for dollars to get a deal? I've talked to the CEO of Deal Machine, top drawing for dollars people out there. They've said 150 to 200 to get a deal. I think it's 250 if you're especially newer, because you're probably going to whiff on some leads and deals. So I say 250 to 300. 200 if you're really experienced. It's really dependent on how experienced you are in wholesaling real estate and really how good of an acquisitions person you are. So general ratio, I would say, like how many properties get a driving for dollars deal? I would say 250 right now. I think the average wholesaler that watches like a lot of my channel and a lot of my stuff, they're probably closer to that. Could I be wrong? Could I not? I think within 300, it's almost a guarantee. There's no guarantees in real estate, wholesaling, or life, but truly that's kind of where we're at. Got a lot more water in me, so there's a lot more live to go. Patrick says, preach, brother, preach. I appreciate it. That's definitely what we're trying to do. That's really what we're doing here. Like, I'm just trying to give the information to the people. I will be screaming on lives to the day I die to help me put these wholesaling gurus out of business, because I truly think what they're doing is just, it's personally outrageous, and like selling these courses, and I'm trying to put these people out of business. So I will be preaching forever, trying to put these people out of business. And I know one day I will, and it'll be a very fun day. We'll have a huge party. We'll have 50,000 people come in an auditorium. I'll pay for the whole party. We'll get pizza, and we'll celebrate it. But until that day, I'll be going live here and trying to change the world. Good stuff, bro. Thanks, Eric. I truly appreciate the support. I am absolutely overwhelmed by the amount of support you guys have been giving me. Like, it's truly humbling and amazing. And it's amazing to think about it, but it's great. Christian says, hey, Zach, were you able to look at the text I DM'd you? No, we knew it was a little crazy. We've been buying a lot of properties lately, and I was having to manage some of the wholesale deals because it's very good. You guys heard we're doing 7 figures wholesaling, like profit a year. It's getting insane. The amount of deals we're doing, and really it's not even the amount of deals. Like, we're getting more deals than we ever have. Like, this is probably our craziest month we've ever done, but it's the spreads on these deals. Holy moly. Like, the minimum's close to 40 now. It's just rising. I mean, a $100,000 deal I was showing you guys. Like, I did the video. Like, it's stupid crazy, but I'm getting to it. I'll get back to you. I sent a DM, so let me look at it. All right, sweet. Love you, Zach. Just make sure I get it under 1,000 a day, can fly under the radar. Not guaranteed. What I've seen, we won't know till June or July, but most likely, yes, you should be fine. Really grateful for the info and inspiration. God bless. Edom, God bless for you. Thank you so much. Jonathan says, I'm in Dallas, Texas, bro. How's the market here? It's decent. It's not the best one out there, but drawing for dollars there, you should do fine. But it's definitely a pretty good one. Tad saturated, but I mean, my market's heavily saturated, so we still do well. What do you think about a guru doing 100% funding for wholesalers? I've never heard of that. If it's someone who's legit, I don't see a problem with it. Just remember about funding is you don't want to get in trouble with it. If you're in over your head on a deal, it's probably not worth it. I always avoid debt, but certain debt's good. Good debt's good, but I'd be careful. I'd have to do some more research. Luis, if you can DM me what guru that is, and maybe I can get back with you and tell me it's legit or not. But if it's like a random dude off the street, I would say no. If it's a legitimate dude that I can vet and that I know through my circles, they're a legit 7-figure wholesaler, and they're a man of their word, or they're a woman of their word, and they're generally great business people, and that's someone who I trust, then yes, I'm gonna have to see who it is. Do some more research and vetting on what it's all about, but depending on the person, it should be fine. I don't think it's that big of a deal if it's the right person. Facebook user has a really good question here. Where can you find a code violation list? This is a great question. And it's generally one that I have all the time too. Like when I started, I was like, how do you find a code violation list? So the best way to find a code violation list is go to your local code enforcement office or your code compliance office. And those people will have code violations. The code violations that you want should be high grass, environmental hazards, trash or debris everywhere. Really, those are the ones. There's roof ones, there's window bad, like there's mildew on the property. Stuff like that's really the ones I'd be going after. And those are the code violation lists that I'd be attacking. Zach, as a one-man operation, I hope that answered your question. Let me know if it did. Zach, as a one-man operation with $750 a monthly budget, how should one allocate towards SMS with cold calling as my primary marketing? $750 monthly budget. How should one allocate towards SMS with cold calling as my primary budget? If it's $750 for SMS, you should be fine. If it's $750 for cold calling and SMS, I would exclusively do cold calling. And then once you get some deals, add the SMS on top of that. Because I want you to be adding, I mean, is that Gordon Gecko on your thing? Just like Gordon Gecko, I want you to get very good over the phones and actually talking to sellers and building that muscle while actually cold calling. So I would start cold calling until you got deals and then implement SMS on top of that. If it's $750, now $750 on top of the cold calling, then $750 will be plenty enough through the list that you're putting on your cold calling budget for SMS text blasting. Remember though, if you want to test out if SMS is working, just do SMSZach.com. That'd be the one I'd test out. Norman says, thank you, appreciate you, thank you so much. When I filter a county by 10 plus years, 30 to 100% equity. See, let me get some water here. When I filter a county out by 10 years, 30 to all individual, it shows 50K for a lot of counties. And I don't know what county you're talking about. If it's a big county or not, like if that's my county, I'd be like, whoa, that's huge. Like that's huge. Now, if it's for like, Harris County, then I'd be like, whoa, that's way too small. Anthony, let me know what county you're looking at here, or like a general one. Like this is Kentucky, probably not. But I would add equity to like 55, 60% if you want, and then do year by like 5 or 4 or 3. And also make sure you take off on listrei.com. Make sure you take out, so let me put the link on for you guys, just in case you want it. For listrei.com, I think you should make sure it's not on the MLS, and then make sure the pricing is like decent. Don't go over like 300,000 to 400,000, most likely in your market, or don't go under 20,000. Fred says, great stuff. Love your energy. Thank you so much. I got to keep the energy up for you guys. I got to help you. There's so much energy that I have to help you guys put these gurus out of business. So the question is, why don't you have this save energy if you guys are tired watching this. You guys have one life to live. Like, we have one life. Like, why do you want to impact your life and change your life? And I know I'm affecting people's lives, so it's a passion of mine. It's what gets me going behind these lives to do it for free, is to help you guys out. All right. Keep up the questions, guys. I love it. Brenda says, delinquent tax question, Indianapolis. I bought a house 1980 waiting period. It was 6 months, now 2 years. Got a house 1980 waiting period with 6 months, now 2 years. Is there any way to get around this? That's more of a question for Rick, I would say. Why did the waiting period change? Is it Indianapolis that changed it, or I need some more information on this. I could help you on this one. So I've dealt with some waiting periods with tax delinquencies, but it depends where you bought it. Was this off a tax auction? Like, this is stuff I kind of need to know. Did you spend all your money doing it? Like, Brenda, I need some more info. We use to clean your county records. I use Excel and then batch leads for the DNC scrubbing. So SMSZach.com will help you out on that one. Where can I find a good acquisitions manager? The best acquisitions managers that I've found is through basically, Indeed's really good. I think I found some really good ones through Indeed. So that's one that I would say. Make sure someone who understands sales and have some experience in sales. The best one, honestly, is go find like used car salesmen, like ones that are really good. Go find them and show them how much money they can actually be making. I don't like failed realtors because their mindset's already messed up. I think if you do a good like car salesman that understands sales, that doesn't know real estate investing, those are the best ones you can mold to actually like get really good results in your wholesaling for acquisitions managers. So, and they'll be grateful. That's the thing. Car sales sucks, so they'll be grateful for you. Thoughts on 70 minus repair rule in this market? It should not be 70. Again, my one's a lot different. So it's actually RV minus repairs multiplied by a cash buyer discount. Most likely your cash buyer is going to be paying 15 to 20%, not 30%. And then from there, minus off your fee. That's how it works. Because they're not doing 70%. The market's way too hot for 70. Certain markets, yes. If I'm in like, I'm in Cowboysville, Maine, out in like the middle of the woods, probably. But like if you're in like Dallas or like Miami, it's closer to like 15 to 20%, even less than that. So I think the rule definitely should be up to more the more saturated and hotter market you are. What do you use batch leads? Saying I'm sorry for your loss in probate text. No, bad idea. Cold call. Cold call, and don't say you're going after it like that. You can do it yourself. Those are always the worst results I found. Any tips on the Colorado market? Colorado Springs, Pueblo, Denver. Thanks, man. Driving for dollars would probably be your best bet there. Niche lists also be huge. Fire damage is great. Decent market. Make sure your price points are good. But those are still really good ones to get wholesaling deals. They're still amazing. I still think they're really good. I would probably still be on that. So that's what I'm thinking. Is there a way to get code violations? Yes, there is. Literally, all you gotta do is call. That's it. Like, just call. Oops, sorry, get some more water here. So is there a way to get code violations in the commercial market? Yeah, I mean, I get it all the time. So I'll use Detroit, for example. I don't live in Detroit. I've never stepped foot in Michigan in my entire life, but I still get the code violation list and the probate lists. How do I do this? I'll call the code enforcement office or the code compliance. My VA will start working through it once we get the info. I'll then request the information or have to do a FOIA, Freedom of Information Act, for it. I get the information and I start marketing to it. Simple as that. Where does the address I buy through PropStream go? How to do it? The address, you want to export it to an Excel. And then from there, through Excel, I would export that and then maybe put it in SMSZach.com to actually start text blasting it, or put it through like the dialer or something. Zach dialer is the dialer I use. That's my dialer. That's it. Make sure you only use triple line dialer is the most if your dialer knows what it's doing. Don't use it. I don't use Zencall anymore. Mojo's a really good one too. What do you think about FreedomSoft? I use Podio. I don't know. Don't call me a cheapskate or anything, but Podio is free. It really works well for me, and I honestly have always had the best results with it. So I've not gone away from Podio. Maybe it's too simple for me, most likely, but it's what we're comfortable with. It's what I understand, and it's always helped. So, do you know any online resources for fire damage leads? How should I approach the owner? Do you think direct mail will work better for those leads? They're not going to, if they forward the mail, maybe. Calling has been the best. Online resource, no, like it's very hard to do it. It's all internal through the fire department. So get straight from his mouth, get that information. I'm telling you, it's a lot more difficult to go call that fire department, but once you get through it, it's very easy to do. And these are ones that most wholesalers aren't doing. So go after leads like the fire damage list. Like go after and actually call these people, call the fire department, because on average, the average wholesaler in your county market is too scared, or they don't want to do it, or they don't even know how to do it. So you actually going after that list will destroy your competition on it. It's one of the best leads to go after. So direct mail, no. SMS and cold calling are probably closer to better on it. So that's kind of where I'm thinking right now. Hey, Zach, I have a deal under contract in New York. I live here, but never done a deal in New York. Would you be interested in JV? If the numbers work, yeah, but most likely not. It's got to be a killer deal. What's the best way to find buyers that will take over tenants? Please, I have a signed contract. Literally, there's a wholesaling video. If you search Zach Ginn or Flip with Rick space tenant wholesaling, that'll be in there. The best way to find buyers that'll take over tenants would be landlords. So go to a landlord list on listrei.com, listrei.com, listrei.com. It's on the bottom there in the comments. That is probably what I would do. And that is the best way to find buyers because they already have tenants and they understand it. That's probably the best way to do it. Hopefully it helps you, AK. Best of luck, man. Chill with Cat. All right, cool. Owners had that long to pay me tax owed, went downtown to county record. So why did it get extended? Please let me know. I thought it was 6 months, so let me know. So you bought it through the county. See, we don't really buy our stuff for the county, but I'm curious why it went from 6 months to 2 years. That doesn't sound right. Once I get a deal under contract or on contract, should I tell my cash buyer I'm wholesaling? Yes. I'll tell them that you're wholesaling and they need to understand you're making an assignment fee on there. Make sure you go to www.flipwithrick.com/contract. That's my free assignment of contract. That'll protect you the most. And also my free contract there too. Actually, I'm also going to put it on there so you guys have it. Let's see it. That's where you get it. www.flipwithrick.com/contract. That is the link for you guys to do to actually get a free assignment of contract that will protect you from a greedy cash buyer or someone crazy on there. That'll help you out the most. All right. Let's see here. Once I get a deal under contract. I like your area, for example, St. Lucie. I did 5 years, 50 individuals, estimated. Yeah, but remember, I'm doing 6 counties, so it's a lot. It's Plus, you're doing the filtering wrong. I mean, I'm not going to tell you what filters I'm using, but I mean, we have 18 years experience in that county, so you're definitely have a lot of fat in that. So you got to do the hottest zips and stuff like that. So, but for your county, you got to change it up a little. What's the best dialer for a single user? I would say Google Voice, unless you actually want to start buying a dialer. Then ZachDialer.com is what I would say. You can use Mojo, Call Tools. I mean, use whatever dialer you want. I'm using Zach Dialer. Do you feel like your market of Florida is more competitive now since everyone wants to move there? Are you guys still dominating? Yeah, we're still, Gian, we're still the biggest wholesaler in our market easily. Not all of Florida. I'm not claiming that. Probably not. But it's a lot. It's way more competitive than when I started 4 years ago, hands down. But we're making more money because we've just gotten better at it, and we've focused so hard on our acquisitions, the training, and actually destroying our competition with it, that we're making more money than ever. So it's more competitive, but we're dominating it even more because we got way better at acquisitions and training our acquisitions people. Do you cold call probates initially? If so, how do you approach them? So that's a really good question. We actually approach them as like we're randomly not tripping over that we found them, but like we asked them if they're the owner of that probate property, and they're like, well, maybe, well, possibly. Well, I mean, can you talk about it a little more? And they say, well, I'm kind of not the owner. Well, can you explain it? Now, it makes it seem like, as Fred, if I call and say, hey, Fred, I saw your mom died. I'm looking to buy that property because I saw she died, and that's what she died, and that's why I'm calling you. You're gonna get hung up. Like, that's not the way to do it. So no, we call and see if they're the owner of it, and then we go. Do you need a lawyer to close the deal in New York? Yes. Hey, Rick, better late than never, right? What to do if city or county refuses to give certain lists? FOIA, Freedom of Information Act requests. FOIA, threaten it with them, Troy, buy Playboy, threaten it, and I'm telling you, they'll give it to you. Or if you have to do the freedom, blah, blah, blah. If you're going to do the Freedom of Information Act, you will get it done. I'm telling you, it's a threat you have to do, but hey, it'll work very well. Zach, do you think cold calling after my day job? Yes, I would say so. If you're doing a Driving for Dollars list, hands down. My favorite is direct mail because it's the easiest, but the most practical and the best one to do would be Driving for Dollars and cold calling that list. Would you recommend lease to own option? If you understand wholesaling and you understand lease options, it's definitely a great one to do. That would be one I would recommend, yes. I'm guessing too many investors were getting involved flooding the city record, most likely. Call and see why. That seems insane, though. Can I use your contract here in Texas, bro? Is it the same? Do you know what TREC is? Yes, everyone says TREC. I've talked to some big wholesalers, and they've actually told me, checking my battery here. I might need to plug this in. But, so this stream cuts out because my thing died. Okay, I'm at 20%. 17 minutes remaining. Let me get a charger really quick. Hold on, guys. I'm getting a charger so my computer doesn't die, so I can start getting more information to get these computers out of business. You guys know the game. All right, guys, I'm back. I'm just getting this charger. So, yes, I mean, the TREC is where a lot of people do it, and that's the one that a lot of people recommend. I'm kind of in the boat where I've seen a lot of people wholesale to only the one pager. So everyone uses the TREC, but I've seen guys not do it and do pretty well. If you were given 1 month to get a deal with $3K in your pocket, what would you do? I would drive for dollars and then cold call that list, or cold call high equity. That's what I would do. Brenda says, I'm guessing no waiting period here in Florida. Sometimes there is. depending on the tax delinquency or the county. But to go back with you on 3K, I would drive for dollars. If I had a month, I would start door knocking. Like, it's not even about the money, it's about the time. So I would start door knocking like crazy and cold calling like high equities through Zach Ginn, and that's what I do. Can I fly you out for like 3 days for training? No. I do this for free, and I don't need you guys' money. I'll be in Dallas at some point within 2 years, just for like a meetup or something, because I love this stuff. But no, like I don't coach. I don't do this stuff for the money. I do this stuff for legacy and to change wholesaling. But yeah, last question here. Do you recommend using a hard money loan to purchase property instead of wholesaling? No, not as a newbie. No, once you get experience, you start getting deals. Yes, but not right now as a newbie. So that's it, guys. SMS text blasting is not dead. In fact, it's probably more alive than ever if you do it the right way with niche lists for wholesaling. So I appreciate you guys watching this stuff. If you got any value, remember, you need to smash that like button and subscribe. I really appreciate the support, and I am praying for your success. I know if you keep this wholesaling stuff up, you will get your first wholesaling deal or your last one, or really you can change your world with just the power of your mind. The mind is the most important part here. It's the most important thing for cold calling, SMS text blasting, wholesaling, is having the right mindset. I'm telling you guys, stay positive, keep hammering. I believe in you, and I want you to keep going. Appreciate your like just support here on the channel, and I want you guys to do as well as possible. So keep up the great support here on the channel. Make sure you like and subscribe, and I can't wait to see you guys tomorrow. Have a great one.